We're streaming. So, hi everybody. This
Yo,
is Andy Mitchell. I'm the developer of Solar Echoes, the Star Legation, and oops, it just. And then we have here with us today Josh Portillo and Katie Otten. And I'm not sure if I pronounced your names right. First time
You
saying
get,
them.
you're good.
Okay.
Rod, you technically said my name correct, although I say Portillo. It's
Oh,
like a, it's like
okay.
a, it's like a. I always say because one of my favorite football player is Brett Favre, but his last name is pronounced Favre. So
Oh,
I'm just
right.
like
Fabre or Fabric. Yeah.
Favre,
Oh my
Favre. I'm just
gosh.
like, I say Portillo, not Portillo, but that's technically the right way. So you got it right, Andy.
Oh
Okay,
boy.
cool. All right. So let's see. We're here to talk about the Star Legation a little bit, and I really appreciate just all the stuff you've done, helping out, trying to raise awareness about the opportunity to do voice acting in this for partial voice acting. And I wanted to know a little bit what interested you in the project when I reached out to you, and what do you think about the characters, characters you're going to be playing?
Sure. Katie, I would do rock, paper, scissors to go first, like who goes first, but I would also say ladies go first. So if you want
Okay.
if you want to go first, that's fine, but if you want me to go first, it's all good.
I can go, that's fine.
All right, all right, all right.
Yay, but thank you. So I'm Katie. I play Sarah, and I think what drew me to this project. Well, first of all, I'm a huge gamer myself. I play video games all the time, so that already was exciting to me. But I noticed right away that the characters in the story were really well rounded and fleshed out, and that doesn't always happen with video games. Sometimes characters are very flat or have very consistent characteristics, but here they really grow and change, it feels like, throughout the story. And the writing is really rich and deep and beautiful, and the relationships are really interesting. So all of those to me make for a really great game and good storytelling. So I really wanted to try to help bring this character to life.
Well, thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. I guess for me, kind of bouncing off of Katie, like I'm a big gamer myself. I will say I have not played a lot of games lately, just because I mean, Andy, we've talked just scheduling, and
Yeah.
I'm always at work, or I'm just Katie knows the stress too of just like working, getting
Mhm.
recordings in, all that stuff. But whenever I do, I love playing games. My favorite, I'm a story based guy. And my favorite video game series is Metal Gear Solid, and I always love the exposition within a video game and like the story and all that kind of stuff. And when I saw the Star Legation, I definitely reached out to Andy, and I was just like, "Hey, um, do you need help with voices? Because I like personally, I want to give a voice to these characters, or at least help out and such." And long story short, we're here now trying to give voices to these characters. And personally with me, with Trey, what I like really enjoy about Trey is like I look at him and he's just like your everyday guy who's he's made a few mistakes, but his heart's in the right place.
Mhm.
And he's given this opportunity to just bring everybody together, something that comes naturally to him. And he's given this task of just like making this crew of this like a bunch of aliens and humans and all that kind of stuff. And I just feel like with his story that he's going through of just kind of bringing this whole world and the Star Legation together, I think it's just a story that all of us could really use right now. All of us are separated from our friends and our family and everything like that. And I just feel that Trey's story, personally, can just be very impactful. And I think that's what really drew me in the more I learned more about the story and all that kind of stuff. So, sorry for trailing off, but
No, that's good.
that's my answer.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate
that's
that.
lovely.
Yeah, one of the things about these scenes that you two do together, that Trey and Sarah will be doing together, and then hopefully we get your voices added in. These scenes are almost like a separate story in themselves, because he's on this ship with these aliens that he's kind of out of place, fish out of water, and he doesn't quite know how to relate to them. So he goes back to his room once in a while, and he gets these calls from Sarah Arcari. And they're calling him because it's their job. The Colonial Assembly that's sponsoring his trip wants a report. But he also gets, this is sort of a little bit of a plot device that I use to open up a little bit more about Trey's past. We can get into who he is and how he feels. Whereas when he's around the aliens, he doesn't quite, get into that as much. He's more about what are we doing right now and how do I resolve this situation. So, but then another thing that I do through that is a lot of visual novels, when you read them, they're dialogue only. And there's a few that have descriptive narrative where, it takes you out of the moment and you just kind of get to a big long description and you read that. But I don't like those as much personally, because you have the characters standing there on screen kind of waiting for you to go back to them, and you're like sitting there reading the descriptive text. It just doesn't flow as well for me. So so I needed, though, a way sometimes to convey some of these things that we miss. When we read a story, we get all of that, and when we're watching a visual novel, we sort of lose that a little bit. So when he goes back into the room to talk to Sarah Arcari, they'll ask him, like what's an Irwani look like, and what does it sound like, and then he starts getting into those details, like, oh, the Irwani sounds like a woodwind instrument when he speaks, and these are things that I can't really describe live during the dialogue, but I can use that as a method, to kind of convey that information. So that's kind of a neat little side bonus to doing these scenes. So that's one of the reasons I really wanted to have those scenes voice acted also, because we connect more with Trey feeling alone as a human, away from home, away from humans, and being in this totally foreign environment. And to be honest, there's a little bit of a personal bit of that in the story that comes from my background. I was telling you earlier, Katie, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and I came out to the East Coast for music school at Peabody. And Arizona is kind of, there's not a lot of variety there, at least when I was there. And when I got to Peabody, people from all over the world were coming to this one place. And we're living in this dorm together. And there's just, people from all cultures, it was just really amazing to be around that. And I honestly felt a little bit like a fish out of water there too, because I was like, wow, this is amazing. I don't know what all these cultures are like, and started learning. And I ended up actually even becoming friends with a lot of Koreans. And like, so I ended up marrying a Korean woman, actually, not from the school, but, so it was a really neat cultural experience for me. So in a way, I see Trey's situation is a little bit similar to that. So it was easy to write that for me because I related to his feelings about, being out there. So we can talk a little bit more about the game, but let's get some gameplay in. Do you want to try and do another scene that you haven't seen before and just kind of do it?
Sure.
Let's do it.
There'll be a few lines from the parts we did for the Kickstarter, but and I want to let everybody know that we have a donation button associated with the stream here. So if you would like to support us and help support having voice acting in the game, and feel free to donate a little. We'd really appreciate it.
Yes.
So here we go. I think.
Yes, please.
All right. Can you see this? Okay.
Yep, I'm seeing it on my screen in front of me.
Okay.
Should I? I have to bring up the stream.
Here we go. How's this?
There we go. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, so go ahead. I'll click after you're done speaking, and we'll go from there.
Gotcha. I got to warm up a little bit. Because I know I'm going to slur some words. But, okay. I gotcha. It's 5 a.m. Being isolated like this is totally messing with my sleep cycle. Yeah, sleep cycle. Yeah. Oh, man, I'm tired. Who knows what normal is anymore? hope I can sleep.
Ooh.
Nice, 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 nice. I must have been really tired. I almost slept 10 hours. There's a call-out request from the CA. Hello?
Hi, Trey. I'm sorry I missed you before. How have you been? Oh, boy.
Man, it's,
Does Josh get to choose? I'm so excited.
Wait. We're on stream. So you know what? I know what I gotta choose. I'm great now that I'm talking with you.
All right.
Let's have some fun. It's all good. Oh, God.
So, I guess you've met Kyrie. I have a report here from your last transmission. Sorry that I wasn't here.
Yeah, I was a little surprised when she answered. Kyrie is oh, crap. Oh, crap.
You're gonna dig yourself in a hole.
She's different. He's definitely.
Yes, well, I'm sorry I didn't let you know that she'd be handling the night shifts here. I was supposed to tell you, but it slipped my mind. So you've met the Irwani? Tell me about them.
Okay, from Kyrie's report last night, I assume you know about the Irwani named, I'm always bad with these names.
It's Eolin.
Eolin. You know, Eolin. Thank you, God. Whoever said that.
Yes, and she indicated Eolin seems to have decided to identify as male, even though as a plant he is androgynous. What's he like?
As a person or biologically?
Well, both, of course, but I'm very curious from a xenobiological's perspective.
By the way, since you mentioned it in our last conversation, I looked up xenobiology. I heard about it since Contact with Aliens was made, but I'm never very clear about what it involved.
Oh, thanks for your interest in my profession.
Sure. Sure. So, it's the study of biological systems that are based on something different from us, right?
Correct, but more specifically, it's anything that doesn't involve our standard DNA, RNA, 20 amino acid system. Basically, it involves any life with a genetic code and biochemistry different from what we are accustomed to on our worlds.
Okay. Well, so from that standpoint, Yalin is extremely different from us. What we know about plants, though, generally seems to apply. I mean, he needs sunlight and water. Even I heard him talking about the soil he brought with him so he could sink his roots into it.
Interesting. And how does he speak? I've always been curious about their mode of communication.
Well, that I'm not entirely sure, but I can make a guess. It reminds me a little of the pitcher plant from old.
Saracenia? Saracenia? Okay, but is he carnivorous?
I don't know. I haven't heard him eat anything yet. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. I don't know. I haven't seen him eat anything yet. I was just talking about how he looks. That funnel part. I think he forcefully expels air from there and then widens it and tightens it. his neck to change the sound somehow. When he talks, he sounds kind of like a woodwind instrument. His voice reminds me of old world classical music.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Trey, I'm really jealous of you. I wish I could talk with him.
Maybe I could call him in here to chat with you sometime.
No, you can't do that. The CA doesn't want this channel compromised. It's in your contract.
Well, what if the others on this ship notice that we talk? I'm sure Dayon is probably aware of the transmissions I make or receive from here. He's really attuned to this ship's technology.
It won't be hard to explain if anyone asks. The official CA cover story for you is that you're homesick and that I'm your girlfriend.
Oh, okay. They'll probably buy that.
I imagine they will too. So, tell me more about your experiences there with the Irwanian realm. Has anything else happened that you'd like to mention?
Yes, actually. Dayon and Yalan, there we go, appointed, well, more like voted for me to be the commander. That if we end up in a spaceship or a starship battle, we need some military structure for efficiency. Not that I wanted the role, but they chose me.
That's great! See, I knew you would be a good fit for this mission.
It almost sounds like you had something to do with me being selected for the mission. Or am I reaching a bit?
Well, I did vote during the selection process, but I certainly wasn't the only one that voted for you. I'm just happy to see that my instincts about you were right.
Now I feel like I need to perform and live up.
I guess we got cut there or something. You still okay, Josh? There we go.
Oh yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you came back.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, I feel like I need to perform and live up to those expectations.
Oh, please don't feel like that. I think that, well, you're already doing great, Trey. I know this is a difficult mission, and it's only going to get tougher from here on.
Yeah. So,
Let's change the subject. Where are you heading next?
Hormone territory. I don't know what to think about them. Yalan seems to really dislike Olmos because of their raids on the Irwani planet. Barry says my goal should be figuring out their currency, what they want, and then leverage that to get them to join the ISU.
I think that's a solid strategy. We know next to nothing about the Omul, though the realm have shared with us some information about them.
Really? What have they told us?
They've had several encounters with them during their explorations. Each account is very different. The Omul's reacted to them uniquely each time.
For example?
For example, in one encounter, the Omul's hailed them first and were very talkative. The commander of the realm ship called them overly inquisitive. In another situation, the Omul's refused to establish contact and just circled around the realm starship, scanned it, and then left.
Is there an instance where they opened fire?
No, but they do apparently have strong weapons capability on their starships, which one of the realm captains described as an amalgamated nightmare.
What does that mean?
I don't know. The realm didn't share their video records with us, so we don't know what their starships look like.
It's about heading into the Omul territory. We're basically flying into foreign space, hoping to land on their home planet, and then get an audience with their government. We're hoping they'll agree to send one of their own, or send one send one of their own with us to travel into the hostile territories of Crescent and Draconians. I know how I'm going to convince them it's not a suicide mission. I'm not entirely convinced of that myself. Why did I sign up for this again?
The Realm ISU documents and the presence of 3 different alien races will add some credence to the claims you'll be making about peaceful unification. But I do understand your concern. It all depends on how you present yourselves. You need to show confidence, not fear. Some organisms, like dogs from our world, can sense fear because they smell the change in your body chemistry. Dogs can sniff out the stress-related hormone, cortisol, in your sweat. We have no idea what the Omals can do.
I thought you were supposed to be building my confidence. That piece of information did not help.
Sorry, you're right. I have the bad habit of relating everything to biology. Believe me, I'd swap places with you if I could. Because... just so I could see what an Omo looks like, you know, and understand their biology.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably just blowing all of this out of proportion because there are so many unknowns. You'll probably be fine. Would you mind, though, updating me more frequently during that part of the mission? I'd really appreciate it.
Okay.
Sue might die! Oh no!
Oh, yo. Okay. I'll gather as much as I can. I'll try, but if you don't hear from me, let's go with the second. Let's go with the second. Let's go with the second. He has a little sense of humor. He says that in a joking manner. It's all good.
Trey! That's just... don't say morbid things like that. It's not funny.
I agree. It's not funny. I'm just being realistic.
We don't know something like that is realistic. You're being pessimistic.
Maybe.
Try and go into this with a more positive attitude if you can. The Omals might be surprisingly friendly.
I think the Yalan probably needs me on the bridge. I slept kind of long, so I should get going now.
Okay, well, I'm glad we got to talk some. Please stay safe and good luck.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, Trey.
No! I want more. No.
That was so
I didn't do good. I didn't do a good job with that. I need to do it again.
What are you saying?
I kept slurring my words.
That was fun.
It was just a read through. It's okay.
That was really fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can definitely change up the relationship with them depending on what you choose. So there's an actual variable that's being tracked all the time in your relationship with each person. So when you say things like that, like you actually just hurt your relationship with her a little bit.
I actually hurt my chances.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, and it's funny. One of the things I do at some points is when you make a choice, if you watch her really closely, and it's like milliseconds, but after you make that choice and she responds, you'll see her like a quick micro expression change, and then it goes on. So that's about your only way of figuring out if that hurt or not, if that improved or hurt your relationship.
That's
I gotta
so
take notes
cool.
on this.
I love in general, their different expressions are really so like indicative of what they're feeling, and it doesn't always match what they're saying, which I love because it's so like real people, you know.
Thank you. I'm so glad you noticed that, and that's actually it's something I wanted to talk about a little bit in the chat today. Yeah. So that was a perfect segue actually. The one of the things about this kind of relationship he has is it's a long distance relationship, and I know probably most of us have experienced having long distance relationships and texting and emailing and being misunderstood, and so I did a little reading before I wrote this, and I learned about this this guy named, I'm going to see if I can find the name. It's Albert Mehrabian. He did a study in 1971 about communication.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. Only 7% of the actual message received is what's said, is the actual content of the message. Another 38% is from the tone of voice, and
Wow.
the remaining 55% is from your body language.
Yeah.
You don't even see that.
Right. Right.
It's so hard.
You know, I think it's so easy to sort of fill in those blanks when you're just texting with somebody. And you know, I have a good friend in Arizona that I text with a lot, and we often have to call each other because we just, you know, misunderstood through text what we were implying and stuff. And you have to clarify that way. And still the body language, the 55% is still lacking in that. So,
like you can say like, and this is, I mean, this is what the game is like one of its messages. So this is really good. But, you know, in this day and age that we live in right now, specifically, I mean, I was born in 1995. And back then, you know, I feel like we could communicate with words a lot better than we can now. Nowadays, you know, with people like always on their phones because, you know, work and such, you know, they could probably say something as simple as, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but just something so simple. And then it gets taken out of context. Like it was offensive almost.
Right.
And that's terrible because like if you were in person, the guy would probably, or the guy or woman would probably just be saying like, hey, you know, but then on text, you can probably read that as like, are they mad at me? Or did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Right.
Oh my gosh, like what happened?
Well, it's almost like emojis too have tried to take the place of like, look, I'm smiling, you know, but it's just not the same at all.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
That's an interesting research research article. I need to look at that.
Yeah. So it's nice that when he talks to Sarah, that they can see each other's faces and bodies.
Right, right.
So
I think in the future, maybe technology will improve and help us with long distance communication, but it's still so easy to form bonds over it. And it's not to say that can't work out. I mean, the same guy I was talking about in Arizona, he met his wife over the internet and they chatted a lot and they got very close, but he eventually actually moved out to where she was. And spent a year or two there, like interacting with her, and then they got married. So, you know, it's a beautiful story, but at the same time, with the internet, we can always, you know, you never know what you're getting, and you know about catfishing too. There's always that. And there's actually something that I touch on in this story later on in the story. I haven't actually gotten to that part in the programming yet, but it's a little bit of intrigue through the relationships and what's going on. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it does sort of relate to what we're saying. So I can't wait. I really want to talk to people about it. It's so hard to like, you know,
I'm so pumped.
Only my family knows. And my daughter's like, don't spoil anything for me. She doesn't want me to tell her. So
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, whenever she comes home from college, she reads the latest updates on the game, so it's kind of neat. So let's see. Wanted to see if there was. I'm looking over some things here. Well, I wanted to ask a little bit about like the Solar Echoes universe, and I know, you know, you kind of got introduced to it through this game, but it's originally a tabletop role-playing game. And the thing about the Star Legation that's a little bit different is that it's prehistory to that.
Yes.
So what you're seeing is the sort of part of the history that I wrote in the very beginning of the Player's Handbook, where it says that, you know, the races came together and formed the Interstellar Union. And then, so when I was thinking of making this visual novel, I'm like, what's a really cool point in Solar Echo's history to focus on? And that sounded so cool to me, so I came up with this idea.
That's so cool. I didn't even realize that connection.
Yeah.
The origin.
The
origin.
Right. Yeah. It's an origin story. So the Solar Echoes universe in the tabletop game is that they've already formed the ISU and everybody's unified. And then as you know, as you play the game, you're part of what's called the Union Guard, and you're sort of a special missions force that works for the ISU and goes to preserve the peace and keep the balance. So this is all about how the ISU was formed. And so it's kind of a little bit distantly related, but I borrowed a lot of the, you know, the content from the role-playing game. And one of the messages in the role-playing game that I also am hoping to sort of touch on a little bit in the Star Legation is the differences in the different alien cultures and the humans are kind of new to this universe. They're the newest arrivals. And the thing about all the different aliens is that they each have sort of a focus in a way. I'm using science fiction as a little bit as a warning, because I always love science fiction. Sometimes the stories are a warning if we are headed on this path, and if we go too far, here's what could happen.
Yeah.
So the realm, for instance, and you remember Dayon, he's very highly educated, but his whole society is structured, focused on education, gaining accolades, just staying in, getting all of these recognitions and certifications all throughout their life. So they have children very late in life. They put everything off because education's everything. So they're very focused on that. And I think that's like educational inflation. They're always competitive, and it just spirals out of control. The Irwani are a technocracy, and they're very focused on just like AI development and giving all this work over to the machines. And they've kind of spun out of control in a way too, because the AIs are now running most everything, and it's almost like big tech is now their government. And the Chrysefi, the reptilian race, they are very, very focused on status and wealth, and they have all these clans that are competing for position all the time. Who has more power and status and wealth, and so it's kind of that's spinning out of control.
Wow. It really feels like anyone playing this could relate to one of those. And that's so interesting.
Yeah. And there's a couple more. The Omals are kind of a collectivist anarchy. And so they're just like anything goes, and it's all relativistic. And then you've got...
It's funny. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, in the short that you showed me a while back, of just that took place after this game, if you know what I'm talking about,
right? Yeah.
Even the people that are the voice actors that voiced these characters, they really captured like the characteristics that you're explaining about with the cultures and such. Cool. With the Omals in particular, I remember how the voice actor kind of like portrayed his. You said like what did you say about the Omals again? Like pretty much like easygoing or anything like that.
Well, they're like anarchists. They're collectivists. They're just like relativists. They do whatever feels good, and they just say whatever they want. Yeah.
Yes, the voice actor really portrayed that out, and I feel like in that short that I wish I can give a link to in the chat, but I can't at the moment. It's just the voices really brought that out. I just wanted to say that in that short.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, that voice actor for the Omal is actually the artist that did all of the character art. That was
oh my gosh,
John Fell. Yeah, he had the perfect voice for an Omal.
And the art is amazing. Can we just say, holy cow?
Yeah,
so
they're
nuanced.
Very amazing artists. I'm really appreciative of like Natalia, John Fell, Alexis, and Lee Madison. Yeah, they did a really great job. And I can hear my dog whining in the back. I might have to go check on him in a second. But yeah, so the last alien I was going to tell you about is the Terractus, and they're kind of a monarchy, which is they're very imperialist and about expansionist, kind of like insects would be, and they're all about expanding and replacing everything with their culture and just taking over everything.
Yeah.
So the humans being new to this, I guess sort of the ultimate question that I have in the Solar Echoes universe is, how are the humans going to be affected? Are they going to adopt and get drawn into one of these cultures themselves and mirror that, or are they going to influence others and help provide more of a balance to the others? So it's kind of a big question about where are we headed to right now in life, in our society.
I'm telling you, there is a connection. I've said this for like the past year, man, like ever since getting into this. This game has a clear symbolism of what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
Connection. Like I said before, we've lost our connection with others in a way, just from, because I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, and here I will say, things are pretty leveled out at the moment, with COVID and everything going on. But I know in other areas, people are on lockdown. They can't see each other at all.
Yeah.
Like I know, I think it was England, because I have friends over in England who are on lockdown. They can't see others. Like I know some people, some of my friends on Twitter couldn't even go and see their families this past Christmas.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I'm telling you, the internet, like with, communication and like, seeing others, I mean, it's just not the same without being in person.
Well, and sort of this idea that like humans know what is best for all these other cultures feels like such a thing that's been for the history of our planet,
Yes.
it's just really interesting.
Yeah.
And like, who is to say what's right and wrong though, and what works and doesn't?
Right. The whole idea of the ISU is sort of bringing all these cultures together, but also keeping your own culture and yet balancing things out with each other, because I think the Chiractus are sort of, in a way, seen as the villains in this because they're just so aggressive, trying to take territories and replace everything. And in the actual role-playing game, there's something that was later formed by the ISU called the Non-Proliferation Addendum. And they basically said to the Chiractus, you cannot expand into our colonies and take over like this. You have to sort of keep your certain population control and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of, and underneath it all, the Chiractus are still trying to undermine that. And, there's all these, challenges going on.
When that's their goal, it's like everything else is the bad guy, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and
it's like tunnel vision almost.
So I'm sorry, say again.
It's like tunnel vision almost.
Yes, exactly. So, it's just a lot of different personalities. And one thing I'm hoping to do, and I'm not doing this as any kind of advertisement or anything, but I wrote a novel a couple years ago in the Solar Echoes universe in the, the present day sort of thing. And one of the things I do in the novel is a lot of head hopping. So you get to get inside the head of each of the aliens and see their perspectives and point of views. So I'm hoping to release
Where do we buy this book? I want to buy it.
I'm hoping to put it on Amazon maybe this year once the game releases. So we'll see.
Yes. Okay.
I want it. I want it in my collection.
Yes.
It's really enjoyed writing.
We should go to like sci-fi conventions.
I used to do that actually before COVID.
Yes.
I was about to mention. Shameless plug-in, but you've been to cons, you've done that, and you've promoted the tabletop, and people, you told me people played, and you would have to stay overtime, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
I went 36 hours one time.
No.
Yeah. People would
love gaming, but I don't know about that.
People would leave the table. I mean, I was like, I would finish one mission and they wanted to stay for the next and keep their characters and let's do another mission, and I'd have other people joining, and then some people would come back from previous years and they would see that I was running the games and they bring their old characters. They're like,
let's
can I join?
Play.
So
oh my gosh. I play so much Dungeons and Dragons, and I will play this.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous, Katie. I miss Dungeons and Dragons.
It's so fun. It's so much time, but I love it.
Oh, that's great.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? Maybe what we need to do sometime is I'll set it up. Maybe we could do a tabletop version of, play some Solar Echoes over this.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of Vorpal Board? Did you ever hear of that? A friend of mine produced this new thing that allows you to stream through your camera the tabletop environment. And then you can actually scan in the cards and bring it onto the screen so people can play through this live environment, but you have the actual pieces that you're using.
Oh my gosh, let's do it. I'm so excited.
So a little plug for him, I guess, vorpalboard.com. It's really a cool system.
Okay.
I've played it with my friend in Arizona a little bit using it, so it's pretty fun. So we got to do that. Let's set it up. Let's play Solar Echoes sometime. Well, this has been so fun, and I'm really glad we got to meet.
I know.
Yeah. Yes. So I hope that we can work things out and somehow get your voices into the game. And I think I'm gonna just keep on plugging ahead, trying to raise money for it. And I just appreciate everything you've done so much. You've helped with the Kickstarter, and then you're here today. This is just really wonderful. So it's great meeting you both, and thanks again for everything.
Thank you for having us. This was really fun.
Yes, thank you. And I guarantee it, like I've said before, it will happen. It will happen. Just it will take time.
especially with how things are going right now with just people's jobs and such. I mean, it is what it is, but I think it will happen. I think it's a story that needs to be told. I've said that before. It needs to be told. And whenever people play it on their Vitas or any type of platform that we're able to put it on, people will see, Trey's story and, finally see like how he brings it all together. Cause I think that's a story that really people could use right now. So,
yeah, I agree. Thanks.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I'm glad you were able to come today, and I hope that maybe we can do something like this again in the future. But I'll definitely let you know about the tabletop game. We'll try that out sometime. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Yes,
it'd be so
we'll
fun.
stream it.
Yeah,
We'll stream it.
Yeah, we'll stream it. That'll be. We'll come back here and we'll stream it. That'd be awesome.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
We'll stream it.
All right. Well, thanks again, and hopefully this all broadcast okay. I don't know what the sound quality was like, but I hope everybody could hear us fine. And
Yeah.
I think the video will be up later after this is done, so everybody could check it out if they couldn't log in today. So
I know my friend, one of my friends, Nick, is in the is watching right now, and he heard us, so I think we're good.
Oh, that's great. That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, and I wish you the best. I'm looking forward to doing work with you in the future, and let's definitely stay in touch.
Yes.
Definitely,
sure.
definitely, and thank you to everybody who came and watched. Thank you, thank you, you're awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
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 Bye.